third and final segment of the podcast, The Truth of the Matter, the part of the segment where we talk about health and well-being. Today we are joined by a special guest, Paul Langmack. Paul Langmack played over 300 games of rugby league over 17 seasons. The majority of those were with the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, where he was a vital part of the 1984, 1985 and 1988 premiership winning teams. In 1986, he was one of the youngest players to be selected to be part of the Kangaroos Tour of England. Paul also represented New South Wales at State of Origin. And Paul is the Mental Health and Fitness Wellbeing Manager at the New South Wales Rugby League. Paul, welcome.
Thank you, Zoe. It's a pleasure to be here.
Lovely. So we'll start on a question. How did you start working in the space of mental health?
Well, what happened was 6 years ago I got cancer in the lymph nodes here. And I didn't have chemotherapy. I had radiation. I used to have radiation every Monday to Friday, 6 days a week. So I'd go to work, go to hospital, get radiation, come back to work. And I didn't really have time away from life because it's such a traumatic thing. But I kept going and I kind of fell off the cliff later on. And I thought, what I've gone through, I think I can help kids because I used to work in corporate hospitality at New South Wales Rugby League and other stuff. Then I went to the CEO, David Trott, and said, mate, I've got an idea. We should do a program for young kids. Yeah. And then I started developing a program linked up with a social worker at Soaring Eagles, Josie Valenti. And so now I go around to junior rugby league teams and talk to boys and girls between 11 and 20 years of age about mental fitness before training because rugby league is a conduit that I can get to the kids. Yep. And it's so good that this year I've spoken to about 1,400 players so far. And then New South Wales Rugby League got a government grant to do more of it. So I'm going out to Griffith next month to do some schools and the footy 11 teams that night. It's a huge issue we have. So because New South Wales Rugby League encompasses all junior rugby league and senior rugby league of New South Wales, I'm dealing with a suicide probably every 6 to 8 weeks out in the bush, mainly remote areas. And then I'll have to organise counsellors to go and talk to the team and the family. I've got to bring the family. So the program's more of a preventive measure of what to do if you're feeling down or one of your family members or your friends is feeling down. And I talk about mental fitness. We all know about physical fitness, but I talk about mental fitness, how it's your emotions and your feelings every day, and how to improve that. And then we talk about 4 things. We talk about bullying, suicide prevention, depression, anxiety, and addictions.
So how can people access this program? Through schools and sporting clubs?
Well, then the Bulldogs, I help the Bulldogs get the same government funding, Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. I'm an ambassador there. I go to the home games and all that, and especially to the Bundaberg game against the Cowboys. I'm I've invited every junior club for me to come along. Yeah. Where Bulldogs and New South Wales Rugby League have partnered up. To do this, and now we're going to start aiming for the schools because football season finishes tonight. There's no training because the grounds are closed, so I can't go. I had 7 teams to do tonight, so from August I'll start doing schools through the Canterbury district. So we want to do all the schools and all the junior rugby league teams to teach them about mental fitness.
Yeah, and is that through presentations and stuff like that?
Yes, or they get a flyer at the end of helpline who they can contact. Yeah. How to improve your mental fitness, and I present it with a qualified social worker.
Yep.
And, I love it.
Yeah.
Because if I can help one kid, I've won.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So how can individuals recognise a shift in their mental state, whether that being positive or negative?
Well, I say to kids, I open it up. It's okay to feel negative, down, waking up in the morning, not wanting to go to school.
Yeah.
We all feel like that, and you want to sit in the lounge all day. And adults feel the same way. But if it happens for 10 days or more, you need to reach out to someone. So if they see that it's happening to them or a family member or a friend, they need to say, hey, are you okay? Doesn't matter how old you are. And now it's when the going gets tough, it's tough to reach out. It's weak to keep it in. I think a statistic was in New South Wales, 1 in 4 male boys between 14 to 25 commit suicide in New South Wales because boys are supposed to be tough, not to show your feelings, where girls will cry and all that. But nowadays I think it's slowly turning that you need to reach out. You need to talk and say, hey, I don't feel well.
Yeah, yeah.
Or, I've got no energy. I don't feel like going to school. I don't want to mix with anyone. So I don't want to socialise. So someone whose behaviour changes that you never see them anymore, they never leave the house, something's wrong with them.
Yeah.
Whether it's depression or whatever,
Yeah, yeah. And there's such a thing to not recognise if you are feeling like that as well. A lot of people push it away, not taking it in and realising that they are feeling down, do you think?
Yes, and I think it's hard now probably with families where years ago dad worked, mum stayed at home. Nowadays both parents are probably working and especially in remote areas they're isolated and they're always on social media or on their phones, but when they get to reality, which is not on their phones, they don't know what to do to comprehend and they need to know methods of deep breathing and relaxing and things like that. So when I do the junior rugby league teams, we use examples of the NRL because they all watch it because they play it, the boys and the girls. And I say, when you watch the NRL on the weekend, before the game in the dressing room, you'll see players and what are they doing? They're taking deep breaths to relax. When someone's going to kick a goal, just before they move in, they take a deep breath to relax. Well, life's the same.
Yeah, so it's like life skills to know how to deal with it.
Yep. So
on to the next question. What can teenagers and young adults do to improve and maintain a positive state of mind, do you think?
Well, first of all, they have to be active.
Yeah.
You can't just sit around on your computer or your phone all day or play computer games. That is not going to help.
Yeah.
You need to interact with other humans, not on Zoom meetings, but actual physical interactions where you have a laugh. Get out in the sun more, get some sun on you. I say to people, if you hang around negative people, negative things happen. You'll be tired, you'll end up in trouble. Hang around positive people, fun things happen, and you win in life. So eat good food, turn your phone and your computer off 2 hours before you go to bed because you need to have a good sleep. Because if you don't have a good sleep, you're going to be tired, negative, grumpy, and not a nice person the next day. Eat healthy. It's all the common sense things that, like I say, is we're so into our phones and our computers that when people go to reality or when they're turned off, there's people have phone addictions. Yeah, they look at their phone every minute. Like if I took your phone off you wouldn't know what to do now. No, but you know what I mean, because the whole world has changed. Yeah, it has. And we've got to learn to. It's so easy to sit at home and say, no, I don't want to go out and like with friends or whatever. But so with the junior rugby league. Teams, they all get a football each so that they can get outside and kick the ball. And then I say, well, now you have no reason to drop the ball at training or at games because you should be practicing at home instead of sitting on your computers. Yeah, that's a great initiative. So I remember speaking about in one of our latest segments about mindfulness and meditation and stuff like that. Do you think this is something that should be encouraged more with kids and getting to understand that
mindfulness and breathing, breath work and meditation to try and get them into a good state of mind?
For sure. If NRL players do it before big moments in games and kicking goals, well, what works there works in life. We need some me time in the sense of just forget about your phones, forget about your computers, forget about your boyfriends, your girlfriends, whatever, and just relax and take deep breaths and breathe in all positive thoughts and breathe out all the negative thoughts.
Yeah, definitely.
And it definitely does work.
Yeah, it's kind of getting in touch with nature.
Yes, and plus, because once it's so hard to break a routine.
Yeah.
Like I say to kids, now listen, you're not going to be positive and energetic tomorrow if you're laying in bed and your mum thinks you're asleep and you're playing computer games under your sheets. That's what they do. Yeah. They look at their phones, you know what I mean? Yeah. You shouldn't have your phone in your bedroom. No. Do you have your phone in your bedroom?
I do.
You do, naughty girl. See?
Yeah.
But I don't. Because people are addicted to looking at the screen.
Yeah.
What they missed on Facebook or read the paper or whatever, you know. So it's a whole new era of living.
Yeah.
But I think the tide's starting to turn that it's tough to reach out with your feelings and your emotions being a male or a female. Yeah. Instead of keeping it all in, it's weak.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay to speak up. So to finalise our podcast, how can people find out more about what you're doing? If they want to research it, is there an online website?
There's New South Wales Rugby League on the community page. But now that we're doing, I'm doing, going to be doing a lot of schools, a lot of junior rugby league teams in the Canterbury Bankstown district area. Hopefully then it'll be on the Bulldogs website with information sheets on those things of depression, anxiety, what to do, on suicide prevention, bullying, addictions, and helplines of where to go. You know, I know the schools talk about it, but we need to talk more about it, especially suicide prevention. Like I say, I deal with it in not a framework or time frame of every 8 weeks somewhere in New South Wales, and it's not good.
No, it isn't. All right, well, that's the end of our podcast. I thank you very much for coming and speaking to us about your mental fitness program and everything to do with you, and thank you.
Yeah, so the mental fitness program is called the Changing Rooms because when you go in a dressing room, you walk in off the street as a layman or a lay person, just as an ordinary person, and then you come out thinking you're invincible playing rugby league. And so that's why we call it the Changing Rooms. I hold the sessions in changing rooms.
Yep.
And now to do with schools, I'm talking to it like Canterbury Boys High to get feedback on how the best way to do it because it works better smaller groups we talk to.
Yeah.
You know, so, thank you for inviting me to offer some words of wisdom on well-being and mental fitness, and you're doing a great job.
It was great to have you here. Thank you.
Thanks, Zoe.